Okay, I want to welcome everybody to the 2017-18 Fall Banquet. I would say part one because we have so many fall sports and fall athletes that we actually have to split the banquet into two banquets. Next week we'll be doing our softball, volleyball, cross country, and girls golf banquet. And of course tonight we get a chance to celebrate our football team, our Emeralds dance team, and our cheer team. And this is always a great night. It's always a fun night. It's something that I look forward to because it's a great opportunity for all of us to get together in the same place and recognize the things that our teams accomplished, but also some of our individual things that you guys accomplished throughout the year. And it's a great opportunity to thank the parents, too, for your support, whether that be just being here tonight or coming to the games and supporting not just your kid, but all the kids. We're also doing things like working concession stands. We thank you for all the support that you give, not only of your kid, but of all the kids in our school district. And we certainly couldn't do the things that we do without our parents. We have great parents in this community, and that's a big reason why we have such a great school with great facilities and so forth, because we have a great community that backs our school, and we thank you for that. The first thing we're going to do is the same thing that we always do, and that's eat. So before we do that, I'm going to have Mr. Isaac Boyd come on up and do our invocation for tonight. So, Isaac, you're up, buddy.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this wonderful day. Thank you for keeping everyone safe during their seasons, and thank you for allowing us to have wonderful seasons. And I would like to bless the food we're about to eat and keep everyone safe through the sports that they're playing now. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Okay, just a couple announcements before we tell everybody who gets to eat first and second and so forth. And I'm just doing these announcements now so that I don't forget later on. Miss Karen, where were those senior, what do you call those things? The yard signs, yeah. They're on the table out here in the Commons, okay. So senior football players, when you leave tonight, grab your yard sign, the one that has your name on it when you drive into the stadium and it has your name and number. That's seniors only, because the underclassmen, juniors and sophomores, you guys will still use those next year. So seniors only, grab your yard sign. Also, while we're talking about that, seniors, your banners, or most of your banners are still hanging out at the football field. I thought about taking those down and having you come to me to get those, but I thought it was just easier if you went and got those yourself. So at some time in the near future, to save those banners from being any further damage to them because of weather, rain, and cold and so forth, when you get a time to do it, go out and cut those down and take those home, okay? So that brings us to the time when I get to make lots of people happy and lots of people mad. And I always get the stink eye from people who swear that I picked their table last because they were there. So I'm going to do this in front of everyone. Okay? See, this is my very intelligent way of doing this. Somebody's not going to get to eat tonight. Where did it go? I can't even do this right. Nope, I did need that one. Okay. All right, so here we go. Coach White, what we got there?
This table.
Wait. Before you say it. This is table 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So,
You pick 5.
5 it is. You gotta sit down. You gotta sit down. Easy there, guys. Have you eaten this week? All right, after the head table goes, you guys will be up. After table 5, table 2 will be after that.
Board of Education, good job, Nixon.
Okay, there's 3 of them in there now. Then table 1, which leaves 3 and 4. And table 4 will then go, and then table 3, you guys are last. You're welcome. I'm sorry. All right, head table. I don't know. You got to wait for the head table. You got to wait for the head table. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, I would like to thank everybody for coming tonight, and a few thank yous before we get started with the coaches' speeches and so forth. And I'll kind of spread my thank yous throughout the course of the night. But I want to start with a thank you to Cheryl Wolk and her kitchen staff for providing the fantastic meal tonight. So how about a nice round of applause for Cheryl Wolk and the kitchen staff? Food is always excellent, and it's always another plus of coming to the banquets. So thank you, ladies. I also want to say thank you to our 4 booster officers, actually 5 booster officers. We've met several times this year to talk about the different things that our sports teams need. They've approved requests from coaches time and time again. They actually just approved we're buying new wall pads for our high school gym that have the new logo on it, and they're going to be nice, and some padding to go around the poles at the baseball and softball fields for safety purposes in the batting cage. So thank you to the boosters. They do quite a bit for our programs, all of our programs, and those booster officers, they volunteer their time, and they do it without any compensation whatsoever, and they just do it because they care about our kids. So thank you to those booster officers. Nice round of applause for them. Those booster officers are Kelly Solkowski, Carrie Staffen, make sure I don't forget anybody here, Carrie Staffen, Sandy Geck, Carla Bullock, and Tracy Helms. So thank you to those 5 booster officers. Also thank you to those parents who have answered to those officers' call to work concessions, because if you've been to football games, all of you have been to football games, and you know how crazy it is in that concession stand. And it takes more than just the 5 booster officers to work that thing, so they rely heavily on you guys. So thank you to the parents who have been working in that concession stand at those events, also the volleyball games. I want to introduce our coaches really quick. A couple of coaches that are not here tonight. Got some illnesses going around right now. First of all, we have a volunteer football coach, Kenny Rapp, who's a former player of ours and volunteer coaching this year. He wanted to come tonight, and he couldn't because his wife is ill. So we want to say thank you to Kenny, and I'm sure that Coach Wyke will speak more about him. Also, we had Coach Bonnell, who is not here. He's having surgery, or had surgery today, and although it wasn't major or life-threatening surgery, he made me promise I wouldn't tell you guys what type of surgery it was, so use your imagination there. Just start putting Facebook, Twitter, just whatever you want to put's fine. Anyway, so what did I just do? And then Coach Operly, our Emeralds coach, she went to the doctor today, and they diagnosed her with strep throat. So we told her, please don't come to the banquet and spread strep throat to everybody. So battling some illnesses, but the coaches who are here tonight, we'll start to my far left here. We've got our first year, returning first year in a while, assistant fall cheer coach, and that's Shelly Dallas. To her right, we have our head fall cheer coach. She was assistant last year, and she ended up doing a whole lot of the head coaching responsibilities before we even decided that she was going to be the head coach, and she just did that because she wanted to see the program continue to succeed. So our current head fall cheer coach is Katie Diamond. One of our volunteer coaches and former players, one of the most passionate players I've seen in my 17 years at St. Gen, and he's carried that into coaching, and we thank him for his time volunteering that he does for all of our kids, and that is Tyson Roth. To his right is a guy who just became a dad for the second time this week, so congratulations to him, and that is Cody Schwint. Coach Schwint and Coach Bonnell are our freshman coaches, by the way. Going over to my right here, we have the head football coach. This is his third year as head coach. Been at St. Gen for a while, though, and his name is Kenny White, Coach White. To his right is our offensive coordinator, also been a coach here for a while and a former player. Got a lot of former players up here. Offensive coordinator, Adam Sherry. If you've never heard the story about when Mr. Schweiss was wearing a Valley uniform, number 60, and was trying to tackle Coach Sherry in the St. John Valley game, you ought to hear that story. It's a good one. It didn't happen, did it, Coach Sherry? He didn't get you. He's too slow. To his right, we have third-year coach. Is that right? Third-year assistant coach. He's one of our JV coaches, and that is Ryan White. And last but not least, to his right, we have the guy that used to wear blue and looks much better in green. He did not graduate from St. Genevieve, but we like him anyway. And that is our other JV coach, and that's Coach Bosler, Kellen Bosler. One of these days I'll let you get past that, but it won't be today. Okay, we're going to start with the Emeralds program. So since Coach Operly is not here, I'm going to do my best to be Coach Operly, so good luck to me. But what I'm going to do is just go, Coach Dallas is going to help me here. Here's all the stuff. And then I'll give you I'll give you those two. Wait, I need these because I have to look at them to see who they are. Okay. 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 Our Emeralds, small group this year as far as numbers are concerned, but a very quality group. Halftime is the time of the game where the athletic director is very busy doing a lot of different duties because it's just a part of the game where a lot of stuff is going on. But I always try to make it a point to stop for a few minutes and watch the Emeralds perform, and I try to watch the band too as much as I can. But I was always impressed. It's hard when you've got a small group of girls when you don't have very many numbers. It's hard to look sharp, and I don't know a whole lot about dance, and I probably never will. But I know that when I watch them and I watch them perform, you could see the passion in these girls. You could tell that they love dance. You could tell that they care about dance, that they care about each other, and it was very important to them. And you could tell that they worked very hard week in and week out to learn those dances. And I've always wondered if I knew how to dance and I tried to get out there and remember a dance every other week, how I would be able to do that. And I just don't think I would be able to. I'd be messing up left and right. So it's very impressive to me to watch these girls be able to learn a dance and go out and all of them remember every single part of that dance and then go out and do another one the next time they come out for a Friday night football game. And it's just very impressive to me. It's something that has never been something that I've been involved with, obviously. I've never been on a dance team, thank God. Other people were probably pretty happy about that too. But you know, again, very impressed with these young ladies. They continue to work hard week in and week out. They only had the only opportunities they had to perform were the home football games, so there wasn't a whole lot of times for them to go out and show what they had been working on. But they always impressed me, and I heard a lot of good things from people in the stands about how they looked and so forth. So congratulations to these young ladies and their successful season. Hey, you took my list away. You got to bring that down here. That's true. Come down here with it. There you go. Put it like that, then we can both look at it. Okay? So I'm going to call up the girls one at a time so that they can get their, some of them are getting they're all getting varsity certificates. The ones who are varsity for the first time will get an SG, a bar, and pom-pom. I guess it's called a chenille. The ones who have lettered in emeralds before are just getting a bar, but they all get their silver varsity certificate. So I'll call you guys up one at a time. Brooke Baird. One of our foreign exchange students, I'm not sure if she's here tonight or not. I haven't seen her. Manuela Coltro. Not here tonight? Okay. Anna Dirks. Anna's here. And I saw Autumn. Autumn is here. Autumn Gapsch. Zoe Luttrell. Miranda Kirchner. And the one and only senior that kind of served as a captain to this fall team, and you could tell she was the leader out there on the field each week, and that was Haley Winston. And now for the awards. I did? She's not here. She's not here. Okay. In no particular order, the Leadership Award goes to Haley Winston. The Sideline Award goes to Zoe Luttrell. Most Improved goes to Anna Dirks. And the Emerald Award goes to Miranda Kirchner. Not here, okay? We'll give that to her later. Girls, thank you very much, and congratulations on a great Emerald season. No? Okay. All right. All right, here we go. Going to turn it over to football now, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with freshman football with Coach Schwint. We'll then go on to JV, then go on to varsity, and you won't hear back from me until we right before cheer. So, Coach Schwint, you're up, buddy. You probably hadn't been getting much sleep, so cut him a little bit of slack.
My goal is to always not say anything Coach Sherrod can make fun of me for later, so I'll do my best. Coach Bonnell, first boys, he apologized for not being here. He texted me that before I came, so he's sorry he couldn't be here. He wrote this, so a lot of the times I say we, so we're both saying it to you. First, we'd like to thank the JV and varsity coaches for all the support they offer us, as well as our players throughout the season. We'd like to thank our daughters and wives, there's a lot of them now, for sharing their time with us. My wife and his wife. All right, I failed now. He made fun of me. All right, we're good. It's a sports banquet. Thank you to the parents for the meals they provided throughout the season and for promptly dropping off and picking up the boys when needed. Lastly, thank you to the boys and the managers for a fun season. I'm going to call up the boys and the managers now. Come across this way and stand over here. Coach Roth's going to give you your certificate. Bryce Barley. Luke Bosler, Zach Burr. I'm going quick. Zach Burr. Zach Burr. Brandon Davis. Brandon Davis. Brandon Davis. Adrian DeRouche. Xavier Fleeg. Chayton Lee. Hunter Lawrence. Peyton Matthews. Caleb Miracle. They weren't in order. Oh, shoot. They're backwards now, I guess. Start from the bottom. My bad, bud. Hunter Nelms. Nathan Ritter. Devin Schweigert. Nathan Selby. Cole Sell. Mason Stomberg. James Stout. Logan Challenger. Pierce Wybrick. Joey Wise. Andrew Wolk. Tyler Worley. And Cole Zerwig. And then the managers who helped us out this year, there's quite a bit of them. Soraya Davis. Sydney Eisenbeis. Lexi Jordan. Taylor Kinzer. And Brooke Turner. The potential in this group of young men is great, but could quickly become stagnant if they don't work to improve their strengths and weaknesses. This team went 4-4 this season, and if it weren't for a combined 1 minute of football against Hillsborough and Windsor, they would have been 6-2. Sounds a lot better, doesn't it? 2 plays turned into 2 losses. That's how important the little things you do moving forward matter. You are the future of this football program, and you will help determine our successes over the next 3 years. Leadership, dedication, and hard work must become the most important things to you. Don't spend the next 3 years contemplating the what-ifs. Instead, do everything you can to challenge yourself and each other. Build confidence with each other, knowing that you are doing everything you can to be the best versions of yourself. If these things are done, results will follow. Thanks for a fun season, guys. Coach Bonnell and Coach Schwint. You get it. Nope.
Okay, we're going to roll right into the JV varsity. I'm Coach White, and I get to kind of start us out and give our guys an idea of what we're doing so we can kind of get organized with it. But I'm going to start like I always do with my thank yous. I've written everything down. If you ask any of these guys, if I start rambling, we'll be here for a while. So I wrote it down, and I'll try to follow the script pretty well. I just want to thank everybody in this room just for being here and for what you've done for us. There's so many people to thank when it comes to this program. It amazes me sometimes. I talked to Coach Nix this year, and it's sad, actually. I was going to say it's funny, but it's actually sad. There's so many guys that help that I don't even know what they're doing, and I don't even know who they are. So one of my goals is to get to know all of you better, the people behind the scenes especially, but for the ones that I do know, I have talked to you this season, and I hope you know how much I appreciate everything you do. Football's a big thing here in St. John, and that's awesome. I'm glad to be a part of it. But it does take a lot of people to do that, and you guys know that. You've been around it a long time, so hopefully I won't forget too many people tonight. I'm going to start with the top, the Board of Education, my administration. Thank you just for letting me be here and having the opportunity to do what I'm doing. I hope you guys understand and know how much the community cares about the program and you and what they do for you. It's pretty obvious on game night, you know, when you play in front of that many people and beforehand and just everything that everybody does for us. I hope our players realize it. We talk about it a lot, and sometimes young men aren't real good at showing how thankful they are, but hopefully for your parents that they do let you know that, but if they don't, they should. So this is a big group. There was a lot to do to take care of them. Thanks, boosters. You guys help us out all the time. Everything we ask for, we sit down, we get. I don't ask for a whole lot, but what we do ask for, obviously we ask when we need it, and they do a good job of getting us what we need. The moms, you guys are providing the meals. You know, it takes a lot to feed the guys before the game, and you did it over and over and over again. Appreciate all that. Cheryl in the cafeteria cleaning up after us, washing our bottles and our jugs and things like that. Like I said, there's just a great group of people that make this happen. The guys that are sitting on my right and left, obviously I'm very thankful for. I think these guys are too. I like to watch the way they communicate with them. Being the old man on the staff, it's kind of nice to sit back and watch how the younger coaches mingle with the kids and get along. I'd like to say I'm envious of that, but I think I understand the relationship that they get to have, and I am envious of it to a point, but you know, it's a two-way thing. These guys do it because they love it. They do it because they like the relationship they get to have with the kids. And so I want to, you know, really tell the assistant coaches how much I appreciate what they do to make all this stuff work, because it is work. It's tough. It's tough on all of us, especially when you get this big a group. But for what they do, I want to thank these guys very much. Like Coach Nick said, you know, we got guys having babies and guys that just had babies last year. I think everybody up here but me has a little toddler running around, me and Tyson. And my little guy's, you know, this age, so I have a lot of respect for what they're doing. These guys are putting a lot of time in and a lot of effort and taking time away from their family to be with our extended family. So I definitely want to thank them. Our younger level coaches, our junior high coaches, Thompson, Koenig, Roth, and Gibson do a great job setting us up for the future. Mark Gibson's retiring this year. They made a comment at the assembly this afternoon about it, and I can't tell Mark thanks enough. I just like the way Mark is. He's old school. He's nuts and bolts. He's just fun, you know. He's just there, and that's Mark. And you know, in football, you have to be that way. You have to have that guy. So we got some big shoes to fill there. Our freshman coaches, Coach Bonnell and Schwint. The enthusiasm those guys bring is just great. I go getting jealous again. There's nothing worse than being down at the other end of the field and trying to get your kids to do some hard stuff, and hearing the freshmen down the other end just celebrating and having fun, and all our guys are turning around looking, going, how come we can't do that, Coach? You know, I'm like, well, guys, I think I'm having fun, and I have fun when I'm watching Nick throw up on the sideline, but that's kind of my idea of fun. But it's good to have guys around with that kind of energy. Tyson Roth, Kenny Rapp, both young guys that are helping us out. Again, bring just a high amount of energy to everything we do. Can't thank you guys enough. Adam, he calls our offense, does a great job with it. You know, we've been done for, what, 2 weeks now, and I think he's already got 10 pages for the playbook next year drawn up, and, you know, I don't think he ever stops. Ryan does the same thing with the defense. Just does a great job kind of getting us in the right position we need to be in. Kellen was a great asset to add to our staff last year, and just as far as that relationship and getting along with the kids and bringing this program along, I don't know what I'd do without these guys. Well, I know what I'd do. I wouldn't be here without this group of guys. It seems like every year they're doing more and I'm doing less. I don't know if that's their choice or mine, but it's nice to sit back and watch people work and do that good, and especially with the relationships I have with these kids. I could ramble up here for hours, but I know these guys, and I'm going to lose them in about 2 minutes, so I can move on. Our season, we went 6-5 this year in varsity level. Started off 1-4, and didn't have a great start, but we always like to point to what we were playing and what we were doing. We brought up the word resiliency a lot, and our kids are, and that's a credit to you guys. It could have been real easy to get down and look at the record and kind of feel sorry for ourselves. I don't think we did that. Obviously, we got out of it. We went on a run, 5 in a row, helped us get second in our conference, and real proud of that and the way they fought back and did that. I wore the red tonight to remind them who we need to beat next year. That last game, we're going to get to swing the other way one of these years, but no, Nixon and I wore red for the Veterans Day Assembly, so it just worked out that way. Okay, I'm going to get our JV guys up here now. Ryan and Kellen are going to call JV. What we're going to do, guys, we're going to call you up, and if you would just kind of hold your applause, that way the kids can hear their name, and get all the JV guys lined up here, get your certificates, and then Ryan and Adam and I will spread out talking about the varsity guys, and then we'll give all our awards out last, okay? So, Coach Bosler and Coach White.
All right, good evening. I'll go ahead and call up these guys. We can recognize them for all the hard work that they've done this year. We'll start with number 4, Logan Geck. Number 5, Jesse Kemper. Number 6, Grant Staffen. Number 9, Bryce Trollinger. Number 13, Alex DeRouche. Number 14, Tyler Hook. Number 21, Kobe Hatfield. Number 23, Kevin Slinkard. Number 26, Austin Bullock. Number 28, Austin Keene. Number 29, Evan Walker. Number 32, Kyle Kiefer. Number 45, Jacob Boyer. Number 51, Christian Hale. Number 52, Jacob Kamendolski. Number 53, Jaron LeClaire. Number 59, Kevin Walsh. Number 61, Caleb Roth. Number 64, Noah Ogden. Number 66, Nick Giesler. Number 68, Josh Schmidt. Number 70, Dakota Arnold. Number 73, Gage Wiegand. And number 79, Zach Litton. And I also want to thank our managers, Andrew Marzuko, who helped us out with all the home games, and Colton Roth, who we drug down from the stands a few games to help us out also. So we want to thank him for doing that. Real quick, I do want to thank some people also. First off, I want to thank you all for coming out this evening and supporting these young athletes with their accomplishments this evening. These guys have worked hard throughout the season and will continue to earn what they work for in the future. I've got to thank my wife. I don't want to get in trouble, but she lets me do what I love, and I know there's some late nights, and I thank her for supporting me for that. I also want to thank the seniors for everything they've done during their time here and all the hard work that they've done for this program. I wish all of them the best of luck in whatever they do in the future. So thank you, seniors, for that. Real quick, talk about the JV season and the highs and lows that we endured throughout our 8 games. We ended the season at 5-3. The games we lost were all within a touchdown, so we're proud of how this team fought and grinded through each game. Offensively and defensively, we improved tremendously from the beginning of the year, and as a team accomplished some great things throughout the season. The thing I noticed about this group on the field is that they're always giving 100% effort, whether they're up big or they're down, and that's the type of mentality we really need in our players. Their off-the-field attitude is what surprises me the most. They're always in the weight room wanting to make themselves and the team better. We always tell our guys, we encourage them to play winter sports, play those spring sports, but they know that if they're not playing any of those sports, that they need to be in the weight room. And this JV group, I think, really buys into that. So we're kind of excited about this group and what they can do for us in the future. So thank you guys for a good JV season and your hard work that you've done. And we're looking forward to this group in the future.
All right, I'm going to get my thank yous out of the way real quick, as everybody's up here is going to thank people, so we'll roll through it pretty quick. First of all, thanks, guys, to the players, especially Gabe, Matt, and Ty, who probably took the brunt of all my yelling from the sideline. I'd like to thank my fellow coaches and administrators for allowing me to do my job and have a blast doing it. And finally, thank you to all the parents for all the late nights, all the help you give us, and the support. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to call up the varsity. I'm going to start calling up the varsity. As I call your name, guys, just funnel on up here, and you'll just wait until all three of us end up talking. I'm going to start with Ty Brown. Ty Brown had 67 tackles, 41 assists for a total of 108. He also had an interception and a forced fumble. Ty was one of my inside linebackers. He played all 11 games inside with Matt. We ask a lot, and I ask a lot of my inside backers, and Ty stepped up and accepted the role all year. Ty has a nose for the football, and we look forward to having him back. The rest of my guys are seniors. My first senior, Matt Hurst. Matt had 36 tackles, 30 assists for 66 total. He also had 3 fumble recoveries. Matt was my other inside linebacker beside Ty. Matt started this year outside. We didn't really know what we were going to get from him, but I knew he wanted to play. So I kind of just said, hey, Matt, why don't you try and come inside, see if you like it there. After the jamboree, it was pretty much his position, and he started there the next 11 games. Matt was a little small for an inside backer. That's all of 300 pounds standing over there. But both of them led our team in tackles by a long way, and we did pretty good things on the defensive side of the ball. Matt was always physical, relentless in bringing down the ball carrier. Often he'd be taking on much bigger linemen, but he never shied away from the contact and was always full speed to the play. Next up, I have Kegan Schmelsley. Kegan was one of my outside backers. He had 39 tackles, 21 assists for a total of 60. He also had 1 interception. Kegan is just the type of kid you love to coach. When I first had him as a sophomore, he was a little bitty guy. You can see he got real big. But really, he did work his way into that starting role at outside backer, and I mean it when I say worked. From the time the season ended last year, Kegan just kind of decided he was going to start, and he did it in the offseason, and that's where it has to be done. He was always trying to improve his game as well as his size and his speed. Every day last winter, him and Bub were doing something. They were in the weight room, they were at the community center. They weren't the only ones. He also ran track to improve his quickness. Kegan also took up the duty as our kicker this year after Chad hurt his foot. And him, along with our kickoff team, we didn't allow any kicks returned for the touchdown, had a couple touchbacks. Just an awesome job. Kegan's best game came off of homecoming when he had 8 total tackles and a pick. Kegan is a great kid, and if we can get more athletes that want to work like him, we're going to have a lot of success with this program. Next up, I have Thomas Oder. Thomas had 7 tackles, 4 assists, and 1 forced fumble, all pretty much running down on kickoff. And that's just the kind of kid Thomas was. Thomas loved the contact part of football. Every day he would be out there trying to hit somebody. Thomas excelled most when he was running down on the kickoff team or blocking on the kickoff return. Thomas just seemed to love being part of this team. Didn't matter to him if he was starting on kickoff or just watching. He loved it. Thomas's greatest moment came last year against Potosi when they foolishly tried an onside kick towards him. Not only did he field that kick, but he also returned it 55 yards for a touchdown. Next up, we have Nathan Crocker. On the year, Crocker had 7 tackles, 1 assist. Is Bub not here? Oh, okay. And Bub had 1 punt for 7 yards. My last senior is Troy Johnson. Troy Johnson had one tackle, which I hear was probably the biggest hit of the year. Troy was a first-year football player, and we might not have had a huge impact on the field. He was definitely a big part of our team. Troy was a vocal leader and a great example of what a student-athlete should be. Troy was always on the scout team trying to help us out and making us better every week. If we needed someone to be vocal in the locker room and get everybody fired up, Troy liked to step up in that too. I wish we could have had Troy for 4 years and see what he'd really be able to do playing football. And that's all I've got.
You mind, Schwint? Coach Schwint didn't even need to verbalize anything because he's wearing pink shoes tonight. I'll start with the thank yous as well. My first thank you just goes out to the players and coaches. The players and mainly Coach Wyke know that I wish I could stop during the season. I wish I could stop at 5:30, but I can't. I have a lot of text messages to myself from 10:30 in the morning or 10:30 at night to 3:30 a.m. If I wake up and I think of something, I text it to myself, and it's what I signed up for. But I have third-hour prep, and Camden and Gabe have third-hour office aid, and Coach White has a third-hour class, and I'm surprised that all of his kids have their hands because I'm always in there bothering him, coming up, we can do this week. I know we got this. And then Gabe and Camden, I'm sure they shake their heads, and they're like, dude, shut up. Because I'm always coming up, to them, especially when Luke got hurt. The Potosi game, we had three different guys take the snap the first 3 plays of the game. So I'm sure Gabe was like, all right, Coach, I can run speed option. It's really not that hard. But thank you to you guys, players. I know you have to put up with a lot. I come at you with a lot, bother you a lot. Coach J-Dub, it leads to really long offensive practices. Sorry, they're probably going to be longer next year. Kellen Bosler, he's my guy. Apparently he has more time on Saturdays. Saturdays, that's kind of my day. I had 2 kids playing soccer, 1 playing volleyball. So Saturdays I was busy a lot. Usually on Saturdays I'd have about 4 text messages from Kellen. Hey, I think we got this. So by Sunday when I was spending my whole day watching film, he and I would be texting, calling constantly, and he'd always come up with something. His best play call of the year, we were at Potosi. It was the one Chad didn't throw into the ground. Good job, Chad. He's like, Luke's got the guy on a post. Luke's got the guy on a post. And Luke got his guy on a post, and Chad hit him for a touchdown. And I look at the down marker, and I was like, Kellen, it was 3rd and 1. He goes, I knew we had another down. We were good. So good call on that one. Parents, huge thank you to you guys. Just allowing your sons to play and letting us have a great group of kids. It wasn't easy for them, I'm sure, to continue to buy in. Like Coach White said, we didn't plan to start 0-3. We didn't plan to start 1-4. But we knew that we had 5 difficult games to start the season, and we knew we could bounce back from that. And they never stopped buying what we were selling. And that's, obviously due to your strong upbringing. Coaches and administration. I think most people up here would say that, especially the guys that attended here. I can't imagine a better place to work. Like, this is my dream job. Part of it's because I went here, because it's a great place to work. Most of it's because of whom I work with. Coach Nix is awesome. He's always, in there with us, getting us up if we're down, keeping us down if we're down sometimes. Nobody's touched on it. I'll touch on it. Coach Bosler and I didn't buy into it. Mr. Haney's back there. Coach Schwint and Coach Bonnell and Coach Roth. Fredericktown game, they started eating Taco Bell. So we won. I don't know if you ate against Park Hills or not, but we played real well. And then we started rolling. to the point where somehow Mr. Haney I don't know if Taco Bell delivered to school one week, but we had Taco Bell, and he's like, I got 2 tacos for you. And that's just how awesome it is to work here when your principal is strong-arming people to bring Taco Bell to the school. So thank you to you guys for making it such a great place to work. Now I'll introduce my guys. First guy, Darian Brown. Darian had an outstanding freshman season. He rushed for over 700, or he accounted for over 700 yards of offense and scored 5 touchdowns. Defensively, he had 22 tackles and an interception. With continued hard work, Darian should be outstanding for the next 3 years. Darian brought life to practice and a swagger to the field, which I only had to address once. Put that in check. Didn't stick the ball out on any more touchdowns. And that helped us to improve every week. Obviously, we're very much looking forward to having him for 3 more seasons. Devin Bader. Through sheer dedication and work, Devin made himself a starter this season. He caught 16 passes. Though he is blessed with excellent hands, he might argue with me, he was not blessed with the swiftest feet. Oh, he's not going to argue. All right. There we go. Last offseason, Devin basically made it a goal that he was going to dunk a basketball. He worked and worked and worked, and he dunked the basketball. So this offseason, he's going to continue getting stronger, and we're going to get his feet on the ladders and on the dots, and he's going to continue getting faster. And I know he's going to work that hard, and he will improve. And with that work ethic, he's going to have an excellent senior season. Brady Boyer. Brady started every game this season, sometimes on both sides of the ball. He accounted for 16 catches. He also had 13 tackles and an interception on defense. Brady at times can be his own worst enemy. Once he can maximize his ability and eliminate his self-doubt, he's going to realize his potential, and his potential is extremely great. With continued improvement, Brady's going to help us tremendously next year. Chad Dunsey. Chad passed for over 1,350 yards and 13 touchdowns against only 9 interceptions. 9 interceptions is saying something, being that 4 of them came in the first game. It was Chad's first start. He may not realize we were wearing white jerseys. I'm not sure. But that means 5 of his interceptions came in our last 10 games, which is very efficient. Chad's an extremely hard worker, and he just needs to be more self-confident. We would joke about good Chad and bad Chad. Because when bad Chad showed up, he was bad. Potosi game, that didn't mean anything to you guys. I broke my hand in the Potosi game. Dexter game. When good Chad showed up, Fredericktown, Perryville, First Park Hills game, he was really good. So let's have all good Chad next year. Brian Selby. Selb. Although Brian didn't play a great deal, he was an excellent teammate. He liked being part of the team. Brian improved tremendously through from his sophomore through his senior season. He's a 3-sport athlete and looks to contribute greatly in wrestling and baseball. Luke Brewster. It'll take him a while. Luke finished the season with over 700 yards of offense and 9 touchdowns in about 6.5 games. Luke he's undoubtedly the best route runner I've ever coached. We talked about how Luke ran routes compared to other people on our team. Luke ran routes mad. You know, when he ran routes, he didn't run them just to get open. He ran them to get open, and he was intending to make the defender look bad. And once he got the ball in his hands, he had bad intentions. He was either going to shake a guy and make him fall down, or he was going to run over him, which was teams that we talked to after the game were often very surprised. They were like, how's that kid running over anybody? Luke weighs about $145. But Luke was very physical, and that's what I'll miss watching him play. As much as Luke has grown as a player over the last 4 years, he's grown a lot more as a person. He can go back to his, if you want to ask Luke about that, ask him about my freshman PE class. And we will miss him tremendously next year, but I'm also very excited to see what he will do in his future. Gabe Grimminger. Gabe finished with over 750 yards of offense and led the team with 12 touchdowns. He is also now tied for third on the all-time St. John's single-season interceptions list with 6. I think that makes sense. I wrote it like 6 times. If there was a record for number of touchdowns called back in a season, I have no doubt that Gabe Grimminger would have that record. There was at least 5, I think 6, probably more. He entered the end zone 5 times against Perryville on homecoming. 3 of them counted. Gabe did a lot of everything, and he sacrificed a lot. He made me want to jump out of the press box a number of times because every time he didn't get the ball, he'd throw his hands up like we should be throwing it to him every play. And it was like, Gabe, you're 140, man. We can't run power with you every play, bud. But and when Luke got hurt, Gabe stepped up, and I don't know if he thought he had that in him or we thought he had that in him, but he really stepped up when that happened. One of my favorite stories about Gabe, I don't know if I talked to him about it too much. I talked to the coaches about it a lot. And you younger guys, this is something you need to listen to. Gabe's sophomore year, he started off and on defense. Offensively, he may have gotten some snaps late in the game, but he really didn't do much on offense. And we were playing Fredericktown in week 4. We were good. We were 10-2 that year. And he kind of got shoved into a starting role on offense. And we didn't score our first possession. I don't know if it was our second possession or not. And we had I think it was 3rd and long. We just weren't doing much. And Coach Weiler called a waggle pass. And Gabe snuck behind the corner, and he was wide open. And Wyatt rolled to his right and threw it up. And, I mean, he could have caught it and moonwalked in the end zone. And he threw a good ball, and Gabe caught it, and I think he went like 67. And Gabe was 15 years old and maybe 3 pounds less than he is now. I don't know. He's about the same size. And he got to the sideline, and I said, you were just telling yourself, don't drop it. He goes, heck no. He said, I was telling myself I'm going to score. That's what made Gabe good. There wasn't any self-doubt with Gabe. If you called a play for Gabe, he was going to try to make it. If you didn't call a play for Gabe, he's probably going to get in the way and try to make it. Wade Hahn might not have a lot of energy. Didn't get to eat while all of us were. Wade had 43 yards rushing, but that doesn't sound like a lot. Those were 43 very important yards, I promise you, because those are short yards. And 1 touchdown. He also had 26 tackles on defense and 4 for a loss. Wade also attempted a PAT, which was one of the ugliest things I've ever seen, but almost went in. Wade missed about half the season with an ankle injury, but when he came back, it really helped our defensive line and tremendously strengthened our short yardage offense. He was one of our fullbacks and then occasionally played deep on that. He stole a ton of touchdowns last year. He only stole 1. One was legitimate because we were power high that game. Boyd stole the touchdowns this year. So all you other guys, I'm sorry about that. The big guys steal the touchdowns. Wade, I do want to apologize. You heard it in the huddle. I called power against Park Hills, and Gabe called his own number. So you were supposed to have another touchdown. That's on Gabe, not me. But Wade was very tough and very good guy for the younger guys to emulate because of his toughness. Camden Rowe. Camden rushed for over 500 yards and 7 touchdowns, along with compiling 23 tackles on defense. Camden epitomizes the selflessness of high school football. For Camden, playing football was about putting the team first. A perfect example of this was our Week 9 and 10 games. In Week 9, we played Brentwood, and we got to a power set, and Camden had 19 carries for 145 yards. I believe that was his best high school game. The next week, we played Potosi. We knew what defense they were going to run, and we knew we were going to have a lot of different things in, and a lot of that called for Camden to do the dirty work. And Camden had, a week after having 145 yards rushing, he had 1 carry for 1 yard. Didn't say a word. That's all I got about you, Cam. I got more, but I can't say it. I'll tell you tomorrow, third hour, buddy. Like Coach White said, RAD did a fantastic job of scheduling 3 district champions in a 4-week stretch to start our season. A lot of teams that start out 0-3 can't come back. What do? We didn't start out 0-3. We decided we'd go 1-4 on top of that. But after we lost to Park Hills, I think our kids really started. I mean, Fredericktown was terrible. We beat them, but it didn't answer a lot of questions for them. And we played Park Hills, and I think we felt we would win the first time we played Park Hills. Park Hills coaches kind of felt we would win. I don't know if they did, but I know after the game they were like, "We're better than them." And we're like, "Yeah, we're better than them, guys." And we kind of laid out a roadmap. This is what we got to do to get back. And we got lucky. Dexter just fell off the map. We were supposed to go down there, and Potosi played a difficult schedule, and it bumped them up, and we got Potosi in week 10, and we got that home game, and it just fell into place exactly how we wanted it. And after that week 5 game, we laid out the plan, but it got hard. I mean, it was a lot of running. It was a lot of sled work. It was a lot of tires. It wasn't easy. And that week after we beat Potosi, we were practicing and we were doing stuff, and on Tuesday or Wednesday, our D-backs hit the sled. And I jokingly told them, I said, "Guys, I can promise you one thing, there's no other team in the state whose D-backs are hitting the sled." And they bought into it so much that Brady and Camden, they were doing inside run while we were hitting the sled, and we got done, and they were like, "What about us?" So Brady and Camden went and hit the sled on their own. They bought in. They learned a lot about themselves, and we learned a lot about them, and it was really cool to be a part of that. And by the end of it, we were good. I know you can't, I can guarantee a lot of things. I can really guarantee them when I know they're never going to happen. But if Luke hadn't gotten hurt, I'm pretty confident we'd be playing Friday or tomorrow night. But Luke got hurt, so not much we can do about that. But you guys know what we talked about early in the year. You remember the text messages we read. You guys really epitomize the toughness and dedication of St. Jim football.
Oh, he's okay. You guys just come around. Seldom move down. You're okay to be right in front of me. You're okay there. That's good. You won't hurt my feelings standing in front of me. Okay, we got a few more here. I'm going to start with Tyler Jenkins. Tyler played tight end and defensive end. He had 27 tackles, 18 solos, 2 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. We moved him from a linebacker to D end early. We just, Coach talked about his linebackers earlier, and when Matt and Ty really stepped up, we talked to Tyler, and he wanted to get on the field. We wanted to get him on the field, and defensive end seemed like a good place to try it, and I thought he did a really good job there. He settled into a starting role. He had some really good games. He looks great coming off the edge chasing a quarterback. That's our plans for that next year for him. Hopefully he'll buy into that like he did this year and just get better and better at it. Next up, Isaac Boyd. Isaac is defensive tackle and / running back. Not too often you hear that combination. He was second on our team with 66 tackles, 38 of them solos, 3 sacks, 12 tackles for loss. Those are awesome stats for an interior defensive lineman. He's a big kid, obviously, but he's very strong, very physical on the D-line, and he's equally punishing when he's running the ball. I don't know which way I'd want to have him coming at me as a tackler or as a running back, but Isaac wants to play ball in the future, and I think the future is bright for him. He works hard for us. He kind of sets the tone for our defensive line as far as physicality. We do a lot of drills, competition drills, and he definitely stands out in those. I'm real proud of the way he's approached everything this year. Kind of absorbed everything we talked about as far as getting his technique better, and He's a good wrestler, and he's got great feet, and I think the future's really bright for you, buddy. Next up, Clayton Vaughn. Clayton played offensive guard, defensive tackle. He's, I think, our biggest lineman. Definitely. He started all 11 games this year. I think he's out with a bum knee now. I don't know when it happened, like week 3 or 4. It happened early in the season, but he talked about it a little bit, never complained about it, never wanted to come out with it. Just a big, tough kid. You know, he's a very physical blocker. He likes getting what we call pancake blocks. He never hesitated to let me know on Monday night when he had pancake blocks. Him and Cake would, I think, they had a competition on who had the most pancake blocks. But we expect Clayton to become a leader this offseason, and when he does, things are going to get really good for him and for us. I think he's going to draw people around him to be just like him. I hope so. And like I said, he'll have a very good future for us. Next guy, Coy Fleeg. Coy played offensive tackle and defensive end / linebacker. Started off at linebacker, and then, you know, Coach White and I were talking and said, man, he's just too athletic just to keep in one place. Let's figure out where else we can use him. And we kind of moved him back and forth. I thought he played both really well. You know, as a sophomore, when he settled into that offensive tackle starting spot, I was kind of selfish. I didn't want him going both ways. I wanted him to work hard to be a good tackle and a good force on our offensive line. I like those guys to get a lot of continuity. So we had some other guys playing defensive end, so he maybe didn't get as many snaps there as he needed to, but I think he's going to be great there. I know he's going to be great on the offensive side of the ball. Plays basketball. I think he plays spring sport too. Very athletic, just going to get better. His feet are going to get better. I think he's still growing. Sorry, Mom. I think you got to feed him pretty well for the next couple of years, but it's just a hard-working kid, great ethic. Next guy, Clayton Kreitler. Clayton was another offensive tackle, defensive end, and another sophomore. These guys are kind of our bookend starters. They both played themselves into those roles. Worked hard last offseason. It's kind of tough coming in as from a freshman to a sophomore. You got to come in the weight room. It's kind of intimidating. But I think they both attacked it and did very well with it, had confidence in what they're doing. Both of them love the weight room. Clayton really likes being in there. We told our kids that, you know, we were going to give them a couple of weeks off, and we're going to start lifting Monday. Clayton's been in there for the last 2 weeks, already getting started for next season. Another one, real good future with him. He's a very physical player, very smart, and very competitive. That's probably the best thing I like about him. Like I said, we did a lot of competitions and stuff, and Clayton was the first one to step up every time we needed somebody to stand in there. All right, now my seniors. Xavier Boyd. He played center and defensive end. Big, athletic kid. I think this is his first year Xavier been playing basketball, but he's got good feet, good hands, very athletic. Snapped the ball well for us. Just has a lot of athleticism and played well on the offensive line. Moved really well. One knock I have on Xavier, and I kind of, I feel bad about it myself, is just getting to have more confidence in himself. I always thought he could have done a great job. And he got in there and did some things, and as soon as things didn't go real well for him, he was his own worst enemy. I think you're a little too hard on yourself, Xavier. You've got a lot of talent, and I think you've got a lot to offer. But like I said, you're pretty hard on yourself, and sometimes you got down on yourself, and you know, I wish you wouldn't have, But I think you're going to do well in everything you do, buddy. Thank you. Austin Karen. Cake. Not sure where he got that nickname. Maybe he likes cake, huh, Nick? Offensive guard, defensive tackle for us. Last year played a lot both ways. This year stuck mostly to offense. Came in some of defensive tackle when we needed, the big, strong stuff up front. But just really became a good offensive player. I think it kind of flipped from last year. I don't know if that was him or me, but it worked out well, I think, for us as a team. He's just very respectful, very quiet young man. And I've got him in class, so I've actually gotten to know him a little better. I've been around him the last 4 years, on the football field and in the weight room, and he doesn't say much, so he's kind of hard to get to know. But like I said, being in class, it gives a little bit better insight into him. I think Austin's very detail-oriented, and he's kind of methodical about stuff. I know I used to get on him early and tell him he had to find that other gear because sometimes he wouldn't be as quick as I wanted in situations. But like I said, I've come to find out, especially from teaching him in the classroom, that he pretty much has to figure out exactly what he's going to do, start to finish, and then he attacks it. I know he did a great job when we pulled him. Like I was talking about Clayton, Austin loved those pancake blocks, and he loved to see those defensive ends standing there waiting for him coming. And we loved to watch it on film. But he was fun to watch, especially when he did that. Good feet, ran well, and toward the end of our last game, we finally got that nerve that we've been trying to push for, that I've been trying to push for 3 years, and Austin got a little mad, and you know, it's one of them things that if you take a nice kid, and we got a lot of them, you know, we got a lot of good guys up here, it's hard to get them to bring that out on the football field, and like I said, he finally got, he had enough. Number 70, I think it was, for Park Hills, wasn't being too sportsman, and Austin stepped up. I was real proud of him there. He didn't do anything dirty, but kind of let himself go a little bit, and it was good to see that side of him. So, but we're definitely going to miss Austin. Austin Dobbinspec. Dobby. He played defensive tackle for us. He's not quite as big as the guys that he's standing next to, but Dobby never swayed away from that. Obviously, he's well liked. These guys seem to, always want to have Dobby involved in everything they were doing. He has a genuine love for the game. He never really seemed to have a bad day. He's one of them rare guys that you never knew, sometimes practices are hot and things are going bad, and like, man, I don't know how this is going to turn out. And Dobby always seemed like he enjoyed himself, and I hope he did. It's tough sometimes when things don't always seem like they're going your way, but Dobby never let me see that he didn't like what he was doing. He always had good enthusiasm about everything he attacked. Brandon Drury. Big Sexy. Yeah, these nicknames are something else. Yeah, see what I get to deal with? Brandon started out as a center, then we moved him to tackle, and we finally settled in as a tight end with him. I think of the three, I think he would say he would like playing tight end the best. Big, athletic kid, great hands, great feet, basketball player. I think Rob likes having him in there at the post, but Brandon's just fun to be around. You can tell he's kind of a character, but he's always having a good time, and he makes sure the people around him do too. Sometimes, I'd get a little aggravated with him, but it's one of those things that you just got to kind of just walk away and scratch your head. And that's just Brandon being Brandon. Once we moved him to tight end, he was, we didn't tell him this, but he was really a blocking tight end. I think he thought we were going to throw the ball to him a little more than we did, but Coach Sherry had him fooled there. And he'd do that by throwing the ball to him in practice all the time. And Brandon caught him. It's like, man, this kid can catch the ball, so keep throwing the ball to him. And my favorite route that he ran, though, was, I don't know who it was on. It was on Slinkard or something. Who he ran it on. He ran right at the guy and headbutted him and then broke off his route. And, it was pretty effective, but I don't think he could do that in the game. But Brandon was fun to have around. He had 2 catches. We only threw it to him twice. One was for a 2-point conversion, unfortunately for him and us. There's no highlight film because we missed that play on the reel. So we'll have to call, who was that, Tosi? We'll have to call them and get their picture of it, I guess. It's probably on their highlight reel. Yeah. All right, next up, Tyler Hale. T. Hale, him and his brother. He played defensive tackle for us. Tyler finally got him out this year. He's been wrestling the last couple of years. Coach Bonal, I've been talking to him and trying to get him to come out here and play football, and just for whatever situation didn't work out until now. I'm glad he came out. I hope he had a good time. He was a lot of fun to be around in practice. Real quick feet, typical wrestler, good on his feet, above average strength, and just took the D-line really well. It took him a little while to figure out how to use those wrestling skills to become a good football player. But once he did, we were able to use him in a lot of situations, especially against the Potosis and the Park Hills when they would jam things in there tight. Like I said, the good thing about him is he liked to compete. he liked those drills we did in the middle of the field, the circle drills and the one-on-ones. He was always asking to do those, and I don't know if he went against his brother a lot, but I hope his brother gets a lot of that drive from him and kind of figures out, well, you know, what it takes to play that position. But Tyler, real glad you came out this year, buddy. Zach Meese. Zach played defensive tackle for us, and you know, obviously well liked. I don't think I could ever say Zach's name without the echo of the Meese. And I don't know if it was because of that or just because he's Zach, but you can tell he's always smiling. Zach's another guy I have in class, and just glad to be around. He's a fun person to be around. He brings energy. He brings a laugh, a smile to everything he does, and I really appreciate that. You know, it's hard in playing football, and Zach can probably tell you I wasn't always the happiest guy in the world, and it never failed. I could be yelling at somebody and doing something, and it wasn't 2 seconds later Zach would walk up to me with that big smile. Okay, Coach, what are we going to do next? I'm probably going to yell at somebody, buddy, but you go ahead and just keep playing. So it's really fun to see that love of the game, and you know, I said it about Dobby too, and we'd put them two against each other a lot, and I think everybody liked to watch that competition, and I hope they liked doing it. Well, it was, you know, they were working hard, and it never failed. Drury always wanted to go against Clayton, and Ozzie just looked for whoever was standing around, you know, and but Dobby and Zach always got together, and they played the position together. I think they played it well, and they brought a lot of enthusiasm to our program, and I appreciate that, guys. Next guy, Waylon Meyer. Waylon played center and defensive end for us. He didn't see a lot of time at defensive end. Once he settled into snapping the ball for us, again, that's kind of me being selfish and wanting kids to play one way. But he did a very good job. We take the shotgun snap probably 80% of the time, maybe 90% of the time, and that's a lot to ask, especially your first year playing football since he's been a freshman. Waylon sat out a couple years, whatever reason, but I was glad he came back out this year. He didn't start week one. He came up to me after the game, you know, and I'm thinking, oh, great, what's going to go here? And just very, very polite, very respectful. Coach, what do I need to do to get us better? And so I'll start snapping the ball, man. And he did. He snapped well. He had a good week of practice for Valley. And we know what happened on that first snap of his varsity career. But, you know, that's saying a lot for Waylon. That was a lot to throw him into. That was a tough game, big crowd, a lot going on. We were already in a hole. And I think that was your last bad snap, Waylon. I don't know. I know it was the last one that went over his head. But about halfway through the season, I don't know if it was from scouting or just who we were playing, teams started putting a nose guard against us, playing odd front. And when you got the smallest guy on your line snapping the ball, that's probably a pretty good defensive move. And Waylon never backed down. He never complained. He'd go against the big guys in practice. We'd throw Nick at him, Isaac at him. We just put people in there, make them work. To his credit, he got good at cut blocking. You know, we talk about it as a line. We talk about it as a line coach. I tell these guys, you know, when I played long time ago, I never blocked a guy above the waist. That's just the rules were different, but it just was more effective for me. And Waylon was very good at it. And you could watch some guys limp off the field after he'd take them down a few times, and our guys would attest to it in practice. Especially on Tuesdays. We got to where we were just wearing uppers on Tuesdays, and I told them, I said, you guys better wear your girdle so you got thigh pad in. And sometimes they wouldn't listen unless they lined up across from Waylon, and they'd be wearing them the next week because he'd take their legs out. Did a great job for us, though, and you know, he just had a great attitude about everything he did. Like I said, I appreciate you coming back and playing for us, Waylon. Next guy, Nick Robinson. Nick, he can play every position on the offensive and defensive lines. In fact, I think I had him do that for the last 3 years. He was kind of our utility guy on offense, and he didn't have to practice a lot at him. He knew what he was doing. He's a very smart kid, very football-minded. Defensively, you know, Nick kind of was a very good surprise for us. I know he was for me. Nick was an offensive player until this year, and then he settled in. Wade got hurt early against Dexter. You know, and is kind of next guy up, and Nick stepped up, and like I said, it was a little bit of a surprise for me, but heck, okay, let's go, and he just took off with it. the guy would attack it. He would be enthusiastic, you know, to the point of, I think it was the first 4 or 5 starts he had. Sure enough, 2 series, and he'd have to come out. He was throwing up on the sideline. I don't know if it was his pregame meal or his Gatorade he was drinking, or we just said it was because he's putting so much energy out there. But he didn't let it keep him out. He'd sit out a play or two, and he'd, all right, coach, I'm ready. You done throwing up? Yeah, I'm ready. I'm good to go. You know, I'd make my depth chart up on Thursday nights, and I'd go through the 1s and 2 on offense and defense, and as I'm looking, I got Nick at like 5 different places as a number 2. He was a number 2 guard, number 3 center, number 2 D. You know, he was everywhere, and those are the kind of guys that are hard to replace. And he made himself into that kind of play everywhere kind of guy. Very unselfish. He ended up with 45 tackles, 2 sacks, 5 tackles for loss. I think he was one of our better guys taking on double teams. He learned how to take that on, how to make a pile, make people run around him. So made himself into a very good defensive player. Nice job, Nick. Next guy, Jacob Smith. Another D tackle, Smitty. He played our 1 technique or a lot of nose guard when we went to an odd front. Just big, strong center, low center of gravity guy. He's another one that's real quiet. Sometimes I didn't even know he was there. You know, I wish he'd complain a little more actually, but that's just his nature. So I'm real proud of him. He, like I said, he didn't do a lot of talking, but he's always there doing what we asked of him. Defensive tackle is very unglamorous, very kind of not a whole lot of recognition, things like that, and I think that kind of fits Smitty. He just does his job and doesn't ask for a whole lot in return, doesn't ask for a whole lot of glory. I just like to believe that he's going to be that kind of kid growing up, and he's going to be a hard worker for whatever he does. Okay, Logan Schwent played defensive end, offensive tackle for us. He was mainly defensive end. He didn't play a whole lot of offense. Logan can do a lot of things at defensive end, but he had 15 tackles, 11 of them solos. He had a sack, tackle for loss, and 1 fumble recovery this year. He always had a nose for the ball. If the ball was on the ground, Logan was close or he was getting it. Pretty good coming off the edge, rushing the passer. I like to have him in there for that. Like I said, especially against Potosi, he seemed to have I don't know what it was against them, but he just had a good game against them, usually rushing the passer and doing those kind of things. He was quick off the edge, had good instincts. He worked hard to make himself pretty good pass rush and defensive end, and he helped us out a lot on special teams. Last guy I have is Drew Toombs. Drew played tight end and defensive end. Actually, he had a bunch of different positions on offense, but we kept him a defensive end on defense. On offense, he had 4 receptions for 50 yards, 12.5-yard average. Defense, he had 40 tackles, 28 of them solo, 12 assists, and the big one, 5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss. His willingness to do whatever's asked of him makes him a great team player. Drew worked hard to become a very good defensive end for us, okay? Drew plays 3 sports, so he doesn't get to spend a ton of time in the weight room, but when he does, he works hard at it. But what he did was really worked on his technical aspects and got good at doing the little things, which made him a good defensive end. The best thing about Drew, though, was his just ability to communicate with everybody. Drew's not quiet, and that's a good trait. I mean that. You know, there's times he probably looked at me and thought, man, you're going to yell at me for talking and asking questions, but believe it or not, I liked it when you ask questions, Drew. I like it when because it shows that you're thinking, it shows that you're paying attention, and, you know, I didn't always answer the nicest that I probably could have, so you might have thought about it, but you never shied away from it. You're a coach's son, so you kind of understand those kind of things that, you know, we have tempers, we have attitudes just like you guys do, but I was real proud of everything you've done for us, and I think you became a great role player for us, and you know, Ryan was talking about Troy being that vocal leader of the senior group. I think Drew was the other one. Drew always had something to say, and was always good, and was always positive, and he's always trying to get his teammates up. Not always easy to do in certain situations, and he wasn't playing that glamorous position, so he didn't really put himself in there naturally. You know, a defensive end and a tight end usually don't set you up for the kind of leadership roles, but I think he took them, and he did very well with them. So I appreciate everything you've done for us, buddy. All right, I think that is all of my guys, right? All my 2 managers, yep. I had them at the beginning, and I Skipped over him. All right, I had 3 managers. Kaylee Smelsley, Kylie Deck, and Damian Kiefer. Okay? You know, nothing goes on during a game unless you have a lot of help. And to have people volunteer to do that kind of help, which is very unglamorous, sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold, it's raining. These guys always showed up and did whatever we asked of them. They did it very unselfishly. They get nothing out of it except a small letter and a very great deal of appreciation for me, and I'm sure all the other coaches. Sometimes the players don't always show it to them, and they should, but we appreciate everything you guys did for us this year. It definitely makes our job much easier, takes care of a lot of things on Friday nights that you guys just take over roles and do things for us, and we really appreciate it. Thank you. All right, while you guys are up here, I'm going to go through our all-conference. Had a good year. The way they do all-conference is, depending on how you finish, we finish second in our conference, so we get so many nominations, and then the coaches in the conference get to vote. Isaac Boyd was voted first-team defensive tackle. Luke Brewster was voted first-team flex position. Darian Brown was voted first-team running back. Ty Brown was voted second-team linebacker. Austin Karen was second-team offensive line. Chad Dunsey was second-team quarterback. Gabe Grimminger was first-team wide receiver and first-team defensive back. Nick Robinson was second-team defensive tackle. Cam Rowe was honorable mention running back. Kagan Schmelzley was second-team defensive back. Drew Toombs was honorable mention defensive end. Clayton Vaughn was the first-team offensive lineman. And to top it off, this year's conference defensive line MVP, Isaac Boyd. Our all-district team, we just found out this week. Gabe Grimminger, first-team defensive back, all-district. Isaac Boyd, first-team defensive line. And Clayton Vaughn, first-team offensive line. Luke Brewster was second-team wide receiver. Ty Brown was second-team linebacker. And Darian Brown was the second-team running back. We have 2 students that qualified for academic all-state, Gabe Grimminger and Coy Fleek. And we offer an award, it's called the Andy Hopsinger Award. We work with Coach Greitz out of Festus. Andy was a serviceman who died for his country. I'm not even sure how many years ago it was now, but about 10 years ago. They do a foundation for him. It's a great kid, and it's a great service and everything they do for us. They asked us to be a part of it. We join with them, and what we do is one of our seniors gets a $1,500 scholarship to use as they wish. It's basically if they plan on going to school, or sometimes if they're just going to work. It's just something to help them out after they're a senior. They ask us to pick someone, our senior football player, who shows the qualities that Andy had, which he was a leader, hard worker, very respectful young man. The coaches don't vote on this. We kind of give it off to teachers and counselors and Mr. Nix, and they kind of let us know what type of students that we have, which I think gives us a little bit different insight, and we really appreciate them doing that. Mr. Haney, Mr. Mercer, Mr. Nix, and Mr. Toombs recruits himself from it this year because Drew was eligible for the award, but I appreciate those guys taking their time to do that. This year's recipient Camden Rowe. All right, I'm almost done. I told you I'd ramble. Okay, last one are the team awards, and this is the ones the kids vote on. We bring them in, and we ask them to rate their peers, and you know, we tell them to take this seriously. We do, and we hope that they think about what we ask of them. We have different positions, and then at the end we ask them to vote who they would have as captains to represent their team this year. So I'll start off with the medals. The medal for the best offensive lineman goes to Clayton Vaughn. Best defensive lineman, Isaac Boyd. Best offensive skill player, Darian Brown. Best defensive skill player, Ty Brown. And we have a special team player, Kagan Smelsley. And my favorite one is the Hustle Award. And there was a lot of guys up for this year, but this guy just pulled away and kind of set the tone. The Hustle Award this year, Zach Meese. We have 2 plaques we give out. Our offensive MVP, Gabe Grimminger. And our defensive MVP, Isaac Boyd. And lastly, we asked them to nominate 3 captains. I have 4 this year because there was actually a tie. So this is what these guys, as a team, decided best represented them on and off the field. Gabe Grimminger, Luke Brewster, Cam Rowe, and Wade Hahn. Okay, thank you very much for putting up with me, and thank you guys for your great season.
Hey, those 4 young men who ended up getting the captains, selected captains, you 4 guys, make sure you come see me tomorrow. I have a captain star to give you to go on your SG. So those 4 captains, come see me tomorrow, okay? If they didn't hear me, parents, have your captain come talk to me. Monday, thank you. Coach White talked about the amount of people that it takes to have a home football game, and I think a lot of people they don't really think about, they just come to the football game and it's ready to go and it happens. When you're talking about the number of people it takes to work a football game, just sitting here thinking off the top of my head, if you don't count the 5 officials, if you don't count the volunteer coaches or Mid-America or any of those, or the 12 administrators that work at the home football games, if you don't count any of those people, there are still 22 workers that it takes to run a home football game. So there's a lot of organization that goes into that, and there's actually, like I said, that many people. I would imagine that a lot of towns in this state have a hard time finding that many people to help them run a home football game. But in my 9 years of doing this, it's never been an issue whatsoever because of our supportive parents and our supportive community members. Some of these guys that are doing those jobs have been doing it for more than 20 years. I mean, we got guys coming back to work in the press box and the chains who have been doing it. This is my 17th year, and they were doing it before I got here. So that's how much this football program means to this town. And we truly appreciate those people that help us run our home football games. And I don't think that our athletes realize, they weren't even born when a lot of those guys started helping at our home football games. So it's a big deal in this town, and you guys are a big deal. So thank you to the people who from the community, whether it's parents or just other people who help us out at those home football games. And Coach Jerry, I got something for you here. I was sworn to secrecy, and I was told that I can never, ever, ever tell who this is from, or I will suffer the consequences. So, at Potosi, you made a bad decision and decided to punch a desk and break your hand because you're fragile like that. So this gift, I'm not going to tell you who it's from, but I'm going to give it to you in front of everyone. Here it is for you. So next year, if he gets mad and he punches a desk, it's already wrapped for him, Andy's got a little bit of padding for his fragile hand. So there you go, Coach. Don't ask, because I'll never tell you who it's from. All right. Just a couple more thank yous from me before I turn it over to our cheer coaches. I wanted to say thank you to Brian Kreider and our evening custodians. You guys have seen how many people come to home football games. Sometimes it's several hundred. Sometimes you're looking at several thousand people between home and away that come to our football games. And when everybody leaves and it's quiet, there's the remains left, and that's popcorn boxes and hot chocolate cups and things like that. And our evening crew comes up and they clean our stands and they get it ready to go for the next football game, and they work very hard in doing so. Those people will come in tonight and clean up after our banquet. So thank you, Brian Kreider and his custodial crew. Also, thank you to Mr. Haney and Dr. Mercer and all of our administration. As I mentioned before, if you go to a home football game, every one of our administrators are there, from elementary administration through district office. And that's just to help with crowd control and to help make sure that the game runs smoothly. So thank you to all of the administrators, Mr. Haney and Dr. Mercer. The three of us travel to all the away games. We've been doing that for 9 years now, and I can count on one hand how many games all of us combined have missed. So that's always a good time. I look forward to that. With that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our cheer coaches. So I don't know, are both of you ladies talking, or just Coach Diamond? All right, so Coach Diamond, come on up and tell us about our cheer season.
All right. I would call Fall 2017 a success for our cheerleading squad. They worked very hard to accomplish their goals with stunting, putting together a fun homecoming performance, and cheering with the crowd on the sidelines. These young women came together as a team to execute their goals, and when times were tougher, they remained supportive of each other. First off, I would like to thank my assistant coach, Coach Dallas, who showed enthusiasm all season. I've enjoyed building a positive relationship with her and look forward to spending the next few seasons with her, which I'm sure she's excited to hear. She's committed to cheer, holds high expectations and goals for the squad, and shows compassion towards each member of the team. We would also like to thank two cheer moms in particular, Stacy Bell and Teresa Gay. They worked together to ensure the team had all they needed at the games and during homecoming day. They bought and supplied water for everyone at every game we attended, volunteered with anything we asked of them, and supported the squad throughout the season. Sorry, I do not like this. All right. Thank you also to the parents for supporting the squad and talking to them, taking them to the games. You've raised amazing young ladies. We would like to thank the sports boosters for supplying paint and mats for stunting as well. Our squad had some ups and downs, and many things were learned. We know that next year will be even better, but the young women on the squad were supportive of their coaches, even through frustrations. They showed perseverance, compassion, and patience as we scrambled to get not one, but two homecoming performance dances down the day before homecoming. And we're also very supportive of Coach Dallas, who was out for a small length of time. They welcomed our foreign exchange student, Anine, and even committed to extra practices to ensure that she succeeds on the squad. They challenged each other and pushed each other to look beyond their fears to accomplish their stunting goals. I'm very proud to have been head coach this season. I enjoyed building relationships with the squad and getting to know each of them. The time we spent was meaningful to me, and I truly loved every moment spent with them. We'll now call each squad member up, starting with the freshman. Soraya Zerwig, is she here? Soraya showed great enthusiasm all season. She was shy at first, but soon her quirky personality shined. She came to practice prepared and ready to go. Gracie Odom. Gracie was immediately impressive with her jumps, high kicks, and tumbling skills. She has always remained positive and ambitious to try new skills in cheer. Haley Schmelsley. Hey started off the most nervous about flying during stunting. She challenged herself with the encouragement of her team and reached beyond her goals. By the end of the season, she was able to fly the most complex stunts we did all season. She is always sweet and caring to those around her. Emily Apt. Emily is always found smiling and looking on the bright side of situation. She approaches everyone with respect and is a great asset to the squad. Marissa Gay. Marissa is always laughing and joking around about something. She loves being goofy with the girls on the squad, and she has been wonderful to have this season. Jaden LeClaire. Jaden has always remained respectful to her coaches and teammates. She is kind to others, is sarcastic and fun, and has a positive personality. Jessica Martin. Jessica is a very strong young woman. She is constantly assisting the younger classmen and provides guidance to them. She is honest with how she is feeling and is always up for anything when it comes to stunting. She has been a great role model this season. Jaden Bowman. Jaden has shown that she can work with others in a positive way. She's ambitious with stunting and challenging herself to execute more stunts. She always encouraged others throughout the season. Anine Ramskill. Anine is our foreign exchange student from Norway, and I commend her for stepping outside of her comfort zone and trying out cheer. She showed great improvement throughout the season. She's incredibly sensitive and positive towards the other squad members. I'm proud to have gotten to know her. And now for our fall 2017 cheer captains. Bree Gay. Bree's calmness allowed squad members to go to her and speak their concerns. She remained patient with all members on the squad at all times, and that was a great leadership quality that she had as a captain. Bree was also open-minded when it came to trying new things in the program. Lauren Bell. Lauren showed dedication throughout the season as she spent extra time outside of practice to develop cheer dances. She was the leader that worked collaboratively with the other captains and empowered the other squad members during stunting. She was patient and a positive teacher during practices and games. Connor Shilley. Connor's self-confidence and proactiveness in cheer earned her spot as captain. She worked hard to make sure the team looked good during games and performances. Connor was assertive and was able to lead the squad during practices in an effective and positive way. Now that we have the squad here, there are a few awards Coach Dallas and I would like to hand out for outstanding efforts this season. Our award for Miss Cheerleader, who showed outstanding efforts and positive spirits, cooperation, and overall great team member, goes to Bree Gaig. Our award for Most Spirited, who showed spirit and positivity throughout games and performances all season, goes to Gracie Odom. Our awards for Best Stunt Group, who worked together to reach the most complex stunting this season, are Haley Schmelsley, the flyer, Jessica Martin with the back spot, and Connor Shilley and Lauren Bell as the bases. Our award for Most Improved, who showed the greatest growth and learning, goes to Anine Ramskill. Although we did our best this season, there is always room for improvement, and with this hardworking squad, I know that next year will be even better. I have appreciated your time during this season and look forward to working toward an even better season next fall. Excellent job, ladies. Let's give them a round of applause.
Great job, cheerleaders. Cheer captains that Coach just named, and also I don't know if Emeralds had captains or not. If you were, I already told the football captains, but if you were a cheer or Emerald captain, you guys need to see me tomorrow as well to get your star to go on your SG. Monday. I'm working tomorrow. I don't know about you guys. I'm working tomorrow. Okay. Guys, as soon as I can do a few more announcements, we'll go, but I gotta wait for you guys to be quiet before I continue. All right. If you were an award winner tonight for cheer, Emeralds, or football, if you were an award winner or you were all-conference football or all-district football, meet in the Commons for Jason Viox from the Herald to take your picture. He's going to organize you guys by cheer, dance, football all-conference, and so forth. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you get your picture taken for the newspaper if you were an award winner or all-conference or all-district football. Some of the football awards haven't come out yet, so we may have some future award winners with Dream Team, All-Region, and things like that. 50-50 winners and banner raffle, and then we'll go. Okay, the 50-50 tonight was $53, so $106, and you'll take half of that. Bring your ticket up front with you to claim your $53. The winner is ticket number 163846. Okay, if you find out you have that ticket, bring it on up. 163846. Okay, the winner of the cheer raffle, or the cheer banner raffle, just grab the banner on your way out if you are the winner. And that would be I believe it says Dawn Odom. Is that right? Okay, I hope that's right. That's the cheer one.
Keith Drury
Okay.
won, and he said donate it back.
Okay. Keith Drury donated the 50-50 back to the boosters. Thank you very much, Keith. We appreciate that. The Emeralds. Logan Gag. The real winner is Amy Winston. Where is he? Is he blushing? No? He's trying to figure out what happened. All right, the winner of the football banner. Again, just grab it on your way out. Logan Gag. I'm like Nostradamus up here. Okay, guys, thank you very much for coming. You guys drive safely. Congratulations on a great fall season.